It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday, and welcome to another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, sports talk radio show and podcast. I'm so excited to be back here with you all. Thank you for joining me. We have a double header today. I'll be going live with the beautiful Jasmine Jordan first here at 2 p.m. Of course, she's an amazing sports marketing mogul. She's a mother and a soon-to-be wife, so we have a lot to touch on. And of course, yes, we're going to talk about The Last Dance, as I know you guys are all excited for tomorrow for the last two episodes. And then later today at 4, we'll be welcoming Big Three player, former NBA player Larry Sanders to the show. And before we welcome, as I want to give love and a shout out to our sponsors. Always remember to shop all your jeweled jewelry at thejewelledexperience.com and save 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for their mailing list. So check out the Jeweled Experience. You cannot go wrong. Special gifts are never a wrong thing to give or to get. So it's always great to be on both sides of that. All right. So please help me welcome Jasmine Jordan to the show. Jasmine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So how's everything been first? How are you and your family? How are you all dealing with COVID-19? Give us the latest details.
Everybody's good. Everyone's healthy, thankfully. And, we're just trying to make light of everything that's going on and just be positive and enjoy some additional family time.
Yeah, it helps. You have a little one.
Yeah, so I love it. I love it. And my son is so oblivious to everything that's going on. So he's enjoying it.
Oh, nice. How do you keep, he's 1 year old, right?
Yes, he's 1.
How do you keep Rakeem Jr.? How are you keeping him busy during a time like this? Because in North Carolina, you guys are still in lockdown where you are, right?
We're still in lockdown phase 1, but thankfully the weather is great. So we're on the deck, we're doing a lot of water activities. We have a little inflatable pool. So we're keeping him busy and getting him tired out.
It helps. And then in addition to having a 1 year old, Jasmine, you're planning a wedding. September is coming. So tell me, I know it's already hard enough to plan a wedding, right? But to do this during a time like this, how is the planning coming along?
It's been going. We're just staying positive and fingers are crossed that we won't have any issues and we'll be able to continue as smooth as possible. But, we're just taking it day by day and listening to our officials and our wedding planner, and hopefully we'll be able to knock it out.
I'm excited. So, is your family prepared to maybe do it virtual if need be? Or are you guys going to hold out until you can do it physically?
We're going to hold out. If we can't do it, we'll hold out until we can do it physically. But fingers crossed. So far, so good that September we'll be able to do it. So
I'm fingers crossed too. We're going to pray with you, Jasmine. It needs to come. Have you got the dress and everything? Are you that far yet?
I do. I have my dresses.
Oh, nice. Everything alike.
So that was the best part.
I love that. I love to that. You have all this going on with your families. You and your brothers have been super busy talking, of course, The Last Dance. So I do want to get into that with you. So Jasmine, we're both 92 babies. So I can only imagine what's going through your head as you're watching this back. So my first question, are you watching this back with us with the world, or had you had a chance to see any of the episodes kind of beforehand? No.
I'm watching it with the world. I am taking it in every Sunday like everybody else. I didn't want to see previews or anything like that, because I just wanted to take it in as organic and authentic as I could have. So yeah, I'm watching every Sunday like everyone else is.
Yes, you're live tweeting with us. We're all in shock. Right. But to know this is your dad and you're watching this back through, what's it like for you? Did you know like any of this was happening or going on when you were, just a young girl?
Yeah, honestly, I was oblivious to everything that was going on. Like I laugh and joke because of the fact that I really had to Google my father at one point just to try and figure it out. But back then I just remember going to the arena and it being loud and it's just crazy and chaotic, and I didn't understand. So now seeing the documentary, I'm like, oh, this is what was happening all these years during that time. So no, up until now, I'm like, okay, other than film and the doc and things I've been able to see, during that time, I had no idea.
You're piecing it together now. And you talk about going to the arena when you were younger. What was that experience like? You know, getting to watch the GOAT of basketball on the floor who just happened to be your dad.
Right. No, honestly, I was just taking it in. I wasn't even paying attention to the games. Most of the times I was going, I'm just trying to, eat hot dogs and have some potato chips and just enjoy my family and hanging out with everybody at the United Center. So no, I mean, I was literally front row basically and didn't even realize that I was witnessing great.
The best seats in the house, right? But I mean, now looking back, is there anything now when you're watching that you wish you knew then?
I wish I knew really just all the sacrifices that he had to make and pulling that sense of greatness out of everyone and just really getting the team to come together and do what they did. I think I didn't understand it at the time. So now watching it, I'm like, wow, I really wish I could have asked you in that moment, like, how was practice? How was she? And things like that, just to get a feel of his mindset in that present moment. But thankfully for the documentary, I've been able to still ask him like, hey, during this game, do you remember what you were thinking? Or how did you feel that way when you had that practice? So I'm still able to do it, but in real time, it would have been better.
Of course, of course. And then just something we're seeing in the doc is, of course, MJ as the player. But I think something we're not getting to watch is MJ the dad. I think sometimes some people take that away because we look at all his basketball greatness. So can you describe for us that, of course, just don't know your family life and structure? What was it like, having a dad that's on the road that, is just doing so many amazing things on and off the court? What was it like for you, especially being the only girl at that time? I'm sure daddy's princess.
Without a doubt. I'm a daddy's girl. I'm my mother's best friend. Like that is like my tagline if I was on TV. But at the end of the day, it was normal, like as normal as it could have been. Like I said, my father was obviously playing basketball and he was a professional athlete, but to me, that was just his job. It was a 9 to 5 in my mindset, not even realizing that it was a little bit different than that. So he just made sure to really be as present as he could have been. He took me to school. He was a part of parent teacher conferences, helped me out on homework, like anything any parent would really do. So he really went out of his way, obviously now understanding how to make sure to be present. And as much as he could have been, given that he had to make road trips and things like that. But I mean, he's a normal, incredible dad like anybody else.
I love that. I love that. He's just normal like the rest of us. So we can't get his basketball skills, but some of you dads out there, you guys might be MJ of the house.
Exactly. Y'all can be the GOAT of parenting. It's possible.
It can happen. And then you also described, I know in a previous interview, I mean, some of his home rituals that he would do with you before a game. I think his meal of choice was it steak and sweet potatoes?
Yes, steak and sweet potatoes before every game. And I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait. I'm sitting with dad at dinner. I'm gonna get the scraps of whatever he doesn't finish, because Lord knows I had no business eating steak and sweet potatoes that young. But I was a part of his pregame routine, and again, I didn't realize, and I loved it. Those are moments that I was able to cherish and just pick his brain while he's getting in the zone. And I didn't even realize he was getting in the zone, but I love being able to just sit there and have those dinner conversations and bond and hang out, and then let him do what he did best.
And we got to see that. And then I'm just curious too, just going off of that, when he was preparing for his games, I mean, did he ever talk like strategy with you all, or like, that he was going to bring home these championships? Like, was it anything like that? Or was it just basketball was a little bit separate from your family life?
We kept it separate. It's like we started to feel it out. We had the trophy room, and my brothers definitely were more involved in his pregame routine and strategy and probably asking those questions. But when he was with us, he was present. That was the main thing. We know that, he's focusing on the game and he's thinking about the opponent and everything along those lines to get mentally prepared. But when he was with myself and my brothers, he's daddy mode all the way through. And that's something I can appreciate. He was able to turn off that competition and really just be present and hands-on. So
nice. I love that. And then we're kind of seeing this MJ and this doc that's kind of more strict, it seems like, with his teammates. Like, he wanted them to perform at the highest level. Was he strict with you all as kids, or was that just like his basketball persona?
No, he was definitely strict. We wanted to make sure that we brought our A game and we did the best we could do in anything. His thing was to always be committed. If you're going to commit to something, commit 100%. Don't half-ass it. Like, go all the way through. And that's something that, I definitely appreciated, because when it came to extracurricular activities or even just projects and schools, things like that, knowing that, okay, I can go to him for help and advice, that's wonderful, but I also know he's going to motivate and push me. It's something I appreciate, and definitely something I know that has been instilled in me to motivate me and keep me going today.
Nice. And I mean, it pushed and propelled you all. And then that makes me think about your family life. Now the structure, as MJ the granddad, is he the same way with your little one?
He is, but he's definitely a little bit softer. You know, my son has him wrapped around his finger and he loves being a grandfather, and they just have an incredible bond and a relationship that, you know, you only wish that you could actually witness. So I love being a part of it and actually seeing, but yeah, he's a tad bit softer on my
Of course, the grandparents are always nice.
Yes, absolutely.
And then staying with your adorable son, I mean, what are you planning to tell your son about your father and his grandfather, both just him as a human being and as well his basketball greatness?
You know, I'm going to let him find out organically. I think that's essentially how I found out. You know, it just happened. And then my father and I had a conversation and he was able to elaborate more. And it's something that I appreciated. But I think with my son, I just want him to live life and know that, hey, your grandfather's your grandfather first. And then anything you learn afterwards is just the cherry on top. But he's going to know that granddad is granddad and granddad loves him. And then when it comes to the accolades and the accomplishments that, you know, MJ did, he can learn that when he's good and ready.
I love that. I love that. I know we're all excited to watch him grow. And then to stay on your family life, I know this is something you've been pretty open about, but you've discussed how kind of sometimes it was hard for you to get to know people because you didn't know if people really wanted to know Jasmine Jordan, the person, or Jasmine Jordan, MJ's daughter, or Jasmine Jordan, who's just doing so many incredible and amazing things. So kind of, talk about what was life like growing up and just really trying to find out, you know, which friends are real, which relationships are real. Like, what was that like?
It was definitely hard. Like you said, it's something that we're going to deal with, myself and my brothers, and going forward, there's no avoiding it. Like I am who I am. My father's who he is. And that's just that. So when it comes to like meeting friends and dating and anything like that, it was either I'm just going to put it on the table now and get the awkwardness or you're going to find out and you're just going to address me in that manner. And that's that. But I feel like I definitely get it from my father to trust my gut instinct. Like I can feel when somebody's not around me for the right reasons. I can feel your intentions, and it's something that you just know. And if I can't feel it, then I'll pray about it, and then I'll allow God to guide me in the right direction. So that method has definitely worked thus far. You know, I have a great small group of friends. I have an incredible fiance, so I'm gonna stick to my method so far.
Yeah, it seems like it's working. And then we have to talk about the fiance. So of course, when you get engaged, one of the biggest things I think is you got to introduce them to the family. But Jasmine, you don't have a normal family. I mean, your dad happens to be one of the most talked about people. So first, how did you tell your dad? Because did your fiance get to meet him before? Or tell us the details.
No, he definitely met him before. When Rakeem and I started dating, I told my dad, like, hey, I have a boyfriend, but I don't need to be like Googling him or anything like that. So I said, you know, I met him in college, but we didn't start dating until after college. He was like, oh, well, who is it? So I let him know who he was. And ironically, Rakeem had played in my father's Jordan Brand Classic game leading into college. So
amazing.
I know who he is as an athlete. I know who he is dating my daughter. So fast forward to like 2 years into our relationship was when they first like actually met in person. And it was during All-Star Weekend in Toronto. And they both were so nervous. I mean, I think they both ended up taking shots and just trying to figure out, okay, how is this going to go down? But I mean, they're the best of friends now, and it's incredible to see their bond because they're very, very similar and very laid back and nonchalant. So I'm grateful that went off smooth and without a hitch.
I love that because I know that was a big moment for you, right? This is the person you're bringing into your family. So it's good that he got along, and I love you for sharing that story. And then just talking about the Jordan brand, and you talked about how he played for that game. So I went to Georgetown, of course, our men's basketball team.
Oh man. Georgetown. My rival.
I know. Now you're about to end the interview, but no.
Thank you for having me.
But I won't hold that against you, Jasmine. It's so funny. So I'm going to reveal something to you. I might get clowned for it later, but I've never owned a pair of Jordans. And so, like, believe me, I love them. I've never owned a pair of Jordans. I'm as far from a sneakerhead as you can get. I know you work with the Jordan brand. You even help design some of the women's apparel. So for someone like me, who I guess just doesn't get it, I mean, what makes this brand just so special, and why do you like working on it?
You know, it's really because it started off as a brand, a story, and an origin. It really started with my father and just him following his dreams and creating his passion on the hardwood and becoming the basketball phenom. And then it became about the shoes and the designs and the accomplishments and accolades he was getting in those shoes. So as the story kept building, it became an organic and authentic moment that fans wanted to be a part of. So now fast forward into 2020, and we have our young generation that's never seen my father play, but they wanted to understand about the culture and why everyone is fascinated with it. And it's really just going back to that origin story. Like, he is a Black man from North Carolina who has created this brand within himself that no one thought could ever happen. And now look, it paved the way for everything that has come since. So it's definitely a brand that anybody and everyone can relate to, because it's all built on hard work and accomplishment and success. And it's going to continue to evolve. So I love the fact that I'm able to be a part of it and help it evolve and become even greater and better as our generation and consumers get younger and younger.
I love that. And then especially you working on the women's part of it, how do you really help specifically to help the brand grow with females, with women, in this demographic that you all are trying to reach?
It's about making sure we're tapping into all of our audience. There's not just one sneaker that's going to fit for all women. No, definitely not. We're going to have our female consumers that love our OGs and our retros, but then we're going to have female consumers that have never owned sneakers that want something more feminine and that has the luxurious, materials and things like that. So it's definitely out of the comfort zone and realm of what Jordan began, but it's how we're going to continue to evolve. So I'm grateful to be a part of that. And we have an incredible women's team that, goes into the demographics and does a lot of research and connects with the consumer to make sure, hey, we're talking to every consumer and every different female that we can find. And then we have our incredible athletes to authenticate it, whether it's Maya Moore or Kia Nurse or Asia Durr. It's an incredible roster that we're working on to build and continue to elevate. But until then, we're just connecting and taking it all in and making sure we're really connecting with everybody that we're trying to service.
I love that. Just empowering women, and the names that you said, just amazing female basketball players that they're just doing it. And so I now need your advice, Jasmine, for someone like me that's never wore Jordan, that wants to get some, that's a female. Which one should I be looking for? Which one would you recommend for someone like me?
You would have to get the ones, because our Air Jordan ones, obviously they're the first ones, they're the origin story, but they go with everything. And they're one of those easy silhouettes that, you can pick one color from it and have an entire plethora of outfits to go with it. So I'm definitely going to recommend some ones for you, and you can get any colorway, and I promise they will work with your style and anything else going forward. So definitely.
That's exciting. All right. I'm putting that on my list. Birthday's coming up in July. I'm just putting that out there. So if anybody wants to get me an early birthday, go ahead and do it. But going back to your women's brand, you talked about some of these amazing female basketball players. I'm curious, and I don't know if anyone has ever asked you this, but can you talk about, is MJ a fan of just the WNBA and women's basketball? And could you touch on that?
Absolutely. My dad is a fan of the game, no matter what. He's a fan of sport. So whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever, he loves sports. So there's no way that MJ can be MJ without loving the game and every other game that's come from it. So he's definitely a fan of everything. And then when it comes to Jordan Brand and making sure we're finding the right athletes and making sure they fit who Jordan is and the brand is and everything going forth, definitely has to pass MJ's decision and my father's smell test. So he's bringing up these athletes and following the game as it continues to evolve. But he is a fan of sport and all sport with and in between basketball for sure.
I love that. And just being a fan of the sport, and of course, all of us are fans of the sport. I want to go back to watching this documentary. When you're seeing maybe some of these tweets that are criticizing your father, Jasmine, because I think not everybody understood his mindset, quite frankly. I mean, how was that for you? And how do you talk about that with your dad when this is happening, since this is your first time seeing it? I mean, what's it all like for you?
It's definitely something to take in. Like you said, a lot of people don't understand that mentality and the mindset of what had to be done to become the greatest. And so there is a lot of speculation and perception and opinions. But if my father responded to every single thing negative that happened in the world, there'd be way more stories on him than what's happening. No. He's very private in that manner. And it's something that a lot of people either respect or they dislike because they want to know more. So it's definitely something that you just have to take for what it is. It's hard to avoid, and it's hard to accept that, hey, that mentality does not apply to every athlete, but for my father, it did. And it's something that true fans and those that understand the game and can feel it out from an unbiased perspective will definitely know, like, okay, I see why MJ had to be that way. And then if you do, you don't.
Exactly right. Hey, you're with it or you're not, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. So completely understand that. And just staying on that though, like just I feel like he gets so much, of course. And then we've seen through social media even these memes that your dad has become. I think every time he's on something, he's a meme. I know we know of course the crying Jordan meme, and now sorry, Gary Payton, but you're on the other side of the meme, the infamous laugh.
Yeah.
Does he enjoy that? Does it bother him? Like
I think at first it might have bothered him, but now I think he's just like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. I myself find them to be funny. After a while, it's like, okay, how much longer are they going to last? It's definitely like, okay, we haven't found anything.
They love your dad, Jasmine.
They love him. And you know what? The bright side of it is that people can see how expressive and animated and funny and human my father is. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like, it's not more so like, we're not making fun of you, Dad. It's more so like, hey, we've never seen you react and have a reaction in that fashion. So let's take a moment to appreciate it.
I had to ask because he's always a meme. I feel like every time I'm on social media, it's something. But look, he's with the culture. And then, did he even know what a meme was before he became one?
Yeah, he knew. He's definitely up to date and he's up with the time. Yeah. Okay, Jasmine, what does this mean? Like, no. He totally knew.
I love it. And then I don't know if we can have any spoiler alerts, but just 9 and 10 are coming up. Anything you're most looking forward to?
Definitely can't have any spoilers because they're like editing and fine tuning and cleaning it up all the way until that time hits. So it's definitely going to end with a bang. I know that much, and it's going to be sad because it's almost like the nation came together, and we all every Sunday we're watching these back-to-back episodes of Incredible Time, and it's like a family time. You know, you're rocking your Jays, you're rocking your Bulls jersey.
Yes.
You know, you're like me, and you're just sitting at home on the couch in a hoodie. Like,
no, I don't believe it. You're not just.
It's just something that around the world we came together to watch, and knowing that has happened and this documentary has created that impact is incredible. So. Yeah. I'm excited to see it wrap up. I'm sad to see it go. And I hope it also just makes everybody appreciate the history that has really have come from the game of basketball nonetheless.
I love that. And the history that your dad helped to write. And just talking about history, I'm curious to know, like, when you hear these comparisons about if your dad is the GOAT and you hear him compared to someone like a LeBron James or, you know, the late, great Kobe Bryant, I mean, does that get to him at all? And what about for you all as the children of MJ? I mean, are you guys kind of just tired of hearing these comparisons? Like, what's that like for you guys?
It's never going to end. You know, and the good thing is it's when you look at the game and you look at how it was when he played to today, it's different eras. And that's just, that's fact. Like my father was the GOAT of his time. Kobe was the GOAT during his time. And right now LeBron is killing it and on his way to be the GOAT of the game today. So there's definitely no reason to compare because the game was so different during each time frame that all these athletes have played. But they're going to talk. It's going to happen. There's no avoiding it. It's great conversation. And my father doesn't allow it to sweat or bother him any kind of way. It's more so just, those are the people's decisions. You know, the fans and the consumers of the game that, you know, they can think whatever they want and have the discussion all day long. But if you guys, myself and my brothers, we're biased.
Of course. I don't know if you could go back home if you said anybody else was the GOAT, Jasmine.
I don't think so either. That would be a header right there. No. Facts with it, biases included.
I love that. And then I just want to touch on one more thing from your childhood. Just growing up, do you have any vivid memories of any of his teammates or any other, you know, basketball players, you know, just coming around and being a part of the family or anything like that?
Yeah. Oh my God, no. Scotty's like our uncle. Love Uncle Scotty. And we love Uncle Oak. Charles Oakley used to come over all the time and make mac and cheese.
What?
Out like, oh, Oak can cook. And he will tell you 10 times over he can cook. So never question that. But no, we love being around them. And I'm grateful to have been able to meet them and be able to see, you know, my father's coworkers in a sense. And just bond with them and get to know them. But no, between Uncle Scotty, Uncle Harper, Uncle Oak, everyone's been around and we love them to this day.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Just a really team family bond. And now, Jasmine, we got to talk about you because you are the queen of this interview. You just recently got on the cover of Rolling Out. I mean, congratulations, first off. You look beautiful. Tell me, how did this all come together?
You know, I'm appreciative to Rolling Out, really just reaching out to me and doing a story on me. And we had an incredible back-to-back set of articles with them. And then they reached out to my publicist at PR Works and they were like, hey, can we put her on the cover, or we would love to feature her? And she told me, and I'm like, sure. Like, right, I'm not going to turn that down. That's incredible.
Right, it's a cover.
It's been exciting, really, just to take that in. And I sent the pictures to my dad. I'm like, hey, this is my first cover. Like,
What did he
it's
say?
kind of crazy. But he was like, no, boo, you look incredible. Congratulations. And he was so proud of me. And I look forward to sharing that with my son when he's starting to doubt me being a cool mom. I'm like, I did some things back in the day. So it's an honor and a privilege to be on that cover, but I'm super grateful for it.
That's amazing. And then you've also worked in basketball. You previously worked with Charlotte Hornets. You were in their operations. I mean, kind of just talk about your career, how you started it, and kind of where you're hoping to go.
Yeah, it's really been a fun ride. Like I've been working nonstop since I was 15, 16 years old. And, I enjoyed working with the Hornets and basketball operations. And then that essentially carried me over to sports marketing at Jordan Brand as a field rep. And where that takes me, I don't know. Right now, I'm just loving it. My priority and number one job is just being an incredible mom. And that's definitely been my focus. And then what I've been doing with Jordan Brand in the women's department and representing our athletes has been so exciting and super thrilling. And I'm excited to be a part of how that continues to evolve. Like I said, our consumers are getting younger, our generation's getting younger, and we have to continue to educate them, continue to connect with them, and do it in an authentic and genuine way that keeps us apart from other companies and rivals. So I'm excited to be a part of the journey and just ride the wave and continue to make sure the legacy that my father built is continuously growing and able to relate and connect to anybody that's either been with us since the beginning or would like to start day one as of today.
I love that. And when you talk about legacy, when we think about Jasmine Jordan in the future, I mean, how do you most want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as, like I said, an incredible mom, and just a humble and grateful human being. My parents made sure that between my brothers and myself, we grew up understanding that we were extremely privileged, we're extremely fortunate, we're blessed beyond measures, and to never take it for granted, because what's here today can be gone tomorrow. So if anyone that has encountered me has not and has seen now this press run and stuff that I've been doing, which has been exciting, I hope everyone just understands that I'm no different than anybody else. And I'm just humble and grateful to be in the position that I've been in today to do what I do and be who I am. So that's all that matters to me.
And when you talk about do what you do, be who you are, something that you also are involved in, which I don't know if everybody knows, but you do a lot of community service work. I understand you work with your fiance's foundation. So kind of talk about the community work that you're doing and what we can expect coming up soon.
Absolutely. My fiance, so Rakeem Christmas Foundation is an incredible foundation that's about creating safe havens and safe play spaces for kids in St. Croix and in Virgin Islands, where he's originally from. So over the past 2 years, we've done a wonderful charity weekend, and we call it Christmas in July.
I love it.
Had his friends and our friends just come down and do basketball camps and really just engulf ourselves and immerse ourselves with the community in the islands. And thus far, we've been able to refurbish a basketball court that was close to home for him. And that's the journey that we want to continue to build upon. So I'm grateful that I've been able to be a part of his foundation and really help elevate it and really just give back. Because at the end of the day, we're in these big positions and the ability to do so. So why not? That's a part of our purpose. That's a part of who we are. We have caring, big, giving hearts, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm grateful that we've been able to do that. And as I get older and continue to build upon my philanthropic profile, I'm going to help out in any way I can with anyone.
I love that. I love that. And before I let you go, I have to ask you this because you went to Syracuse again, not holding it against you, but I got to get your thoughts. So college basketball, college football, everything is up in arms right now. So just want to hear your thoughts. I mean, what are you hoping kind of happens? Are you a fan of them not playing with fans? Maybe are you a fan of delaying the basketball season? I mean, what are your thoughts on everything going on with college sports as it relates to COVID-19?
Yeah, everyone misses it. Obviously, we want the game, we want the atmosphere, we want that roar and tenacity back, but safety first. So if they find a safe way for college sports and things to resume, great, do so. But it's all got to be, in a safe way and probably without fans, just to be on the safe side. If we're going to have the games played, we're going to have the kids back on the court and doing what they want to do and love to do, then we have to protect them just as much as anybody else. So whatever the option is to keep the risk at a minimum and everyone healthy and safe, then that's what I'm supporting. but I do need sports like everyone else.
Oh my gosh, we all need sports back in our lives. And Jasmine, is Syracuse winning a championship anytime soon?
Hi, if you're listening, you know you have to support. Just come on, bring one more home, please.
I love it. I love it. Please do it for Jasmine. This was so amazing having you on. I truly appreciate your time. And before I let you go, any last words for the listening audience?
Just watch that Last Dance. We're going to wrap it up Sunday evening, and I hope everyone enjoys it for sure.
Perfect. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining. We hope to have you back in the future. A true pleasure meeting you and speaking with you today.
Thank you so much.
Have a great one. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this special edition of Listen In with KNN Sports Talk, a radio show and podcast. Join me back at 4 p.m. as we see Big Three player and former NBA player Larry Sanders. We're going to dish it for about 45 minutes live right here. You won't want to miss it. Truly appreciate your support. Cannot do it without more episodes. Check out my website at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. And you can always catch episodes and editions on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This week's show until later today. All right.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. And catch each broadcast of Listen In with KNN on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio on YouTube, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this special live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.